This is how I escaped the matrix. So I'm going to talk about how I got to where I've gotten in terms of my mentality, my awareness, and everything, and how I escaped this matrix. And I think you can use some of the principles I'm going to put forth to you. So first of all, what is Mark's definition of the matrix? My definition of the matrix is this system that controls power, the banking, educational system, main media system, everything that we've been accustomed to. It's a construct that we create to run our society. The interesting thing about the matrix is you cannot change the system, but you can change how the system interacts with you. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Let me repeat that. You cannot change the matrix. You could change how the matrix interacts with you. I'll give you an example. When you learn and when you escape the matrix, you actually have power. So let's say, for example, you're in the matrix. Matrix is a system of struggle, fear, control. It's basically designed to take you away from realizing that you have the power to deliberately create your whole life. It wants you to depend on it, and it creates constructs such as time, and I'll go into that right now. But let me just go back to the example. So let's say I'm in the matrix. Now the matrix will try to program you with fear, doubt, and worry. But because I know that, and I use my mind and my powers, and I know how to interact with it, I change the way the matrix interacts with me. So instead of the matrix sending me fear, doubt, and worry, I turn it around, and the matrix will start to send me positive things and things that are in resonance with my reality. It's like an algorithm. So that can only happen when you escape the matrix. If you're stuck in the matrix, that can't happen because you haven't built the awareness. Now let me go back to the matrix and its construct. So one of the tools the matrix uses is the construct of linear time. Not time now. Time is a real thing. It's a construct. It's actually, time is what we call entropy, and I'll go into that after this. So time is one constant moment. So picture this. Everything that has ever happened is happening now. It's hard for your mind to grasp that, the conscious mind, but it really is. And science and physics shows us that everything that will happen or happening is right now, is just at different coordinates. All right, so the construct of time, what the matrix uses to fuel and run things, is linear time. So for example, if you're sitting here watching this and you think that you're a certain age, you're not. Your age is made up. The month, the day, your birth, all of those things are man-made constructs. They are made up. There is no Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's no January, February, March, April, May, June, July. There's no 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock. All of that is made up. And what happens is, because we made that up, we use the rotation of sun and moon. And through time, your body developed and evolutionized to work with it. That's why you go to sleep, and that's why you wake up, that's why you develop a circadian rhythm. But the fact is, none of that is real. It's all made up. It's a construct. We buy into it. All right. So back to escaping this matrix. So the thing that I discovered that changed it all for me was my point of view, or my perception. So what happened was, I became an optimist. When I became an optimist, I escaped the matrix. The matrix can't program with optimism. It needs pessimism, or you have to be pessimistic. Whoa, what? Is that simple? It's really that simple. Because see, what happens is the matrix is driven on fear, and fear makes you a victim. So, and then you've been bombarded with so much negative stuff, entertainment, like negative entertainment. You have social media, you have the mainstream media, which just pummels your mind and your soul with fear. So your ego developed a construct of always badgering you by talking negative about you. An optimist now, I always see the bright side of stuff. That's part one. And the next part of my system, I use a mantra. A mantra is very, very powerful. These are the two mantras I use that help me to escape the matrix. The first mantra is, why are things always working out in my favor? That's my mantra. The next one I use, Why do I live in a friendly universe that's designed to serve me and work in my favor? I still say those today. Those two mantras you just call as an affirmation or whatever, but those two mantras is what helped me to escape the matrix. Did you know that optimism is something you can learn? Yeah. A matter of fact, did you know that the day you were born and you came out, you were already an optimist? The matrix programmed you to have these negative beliefs. So if you could go back to being an optimist, you will escape the matrix. What do you mean? How does that work? How is that even possible? How can I just escape the matrix? You know? Well, let me show you something. All right. When you become an optimist, you change the perception of reality. You move away from what the matrix is trying to program you with. If you do that, you develop a new level of awareness. That's a consciousness, a different level of seeing things. So if you can see things from a different level, then you can basically look down and see from outside the box. So you can see the people in the matrix and what they are going through, and you could navigate and you can see the way out because you're not tied into that. That's what optimism does. What else does being optimist do? An optimist creates new worlds for you, because now your subconscious mind, your reality now will start to filter in new scenarios for you. You know, a person who's optimistic will always see something as, that's working out in my favor. That's happening for me. That's not happening to me. They always see the possibility of what can come in. A pessimist is someone who sees the opposite. They see what's always wrong. Why isn't it working? What's wrong with me? They always expect the worst. They always expect the bad. And sometimes, guys, sometimes it's not even your fault. It's how the matrix program you. And then you beat yourself up. Don't take this too hard. It's not your fault. It's the way you've been, what I call, indoctrinated. Until you can break the spell and start to become an optimist, that's the only time you're going to escape the matrix. So, Mark, how can I become an optimist or start practicing optimism? I just gave you the blueprint. Use the mantra. Start to notice your self-talk. Start to see the possibility. Now, usually when you're trapped in the matrix, your brain is going to resist. So you gotta do a little discipline and persist. But if you can do this, guys, you do it daily, you will notice a whole new world, because everything is perception. Now things will start to open up, because the thing about the brain and reality is it's actually infinite. There's different what I call compartmentalization of reality happening around you right now. There's opportunity right here. There's stuff happening. But if your brain is not tuned to that frequency, you can't see it, even though you're standing right next to it. When you become an optimist, you open that channel. Now you escape the matrix. The matrix isn't designed for someone to be optimistic. The matrix isn't designed for you to figure out this stuff for yourself and to create it for yourself. They don't want that. So everything the matrix pumps at you is something to make you a victim and to rely on their system. They don't want you to rely on your mind and your soul and your higher self and all that stuff to create stuff. They don't want you to rely on your own power. They want to be like your babysitter. They want to show you, this is how it's done. You depend on us. That's just how it's set up, man. Point blank. The education, the banking, the global world system, all that stuff is just set up that way. It's just designed for you to forget about yourself and who you are, and to just focus on an outside entity to show you the way. So when you become an optimist, you discover yourself. You discover who you are, what you came here for, the purpose. You actually start to experience enlightenment. So here's another big picture, another big secret for you to understand. If you want to become enlightened, and if you want to make the law of attraction and all this stuff work for you, you have to become an optimistic person. You have to become optimistic. Optimism. You have to. You cannot achieve your goals if you're pessimistic. Think about that. So For someone, if you're watching this channel for the first time, I just gave you a big tip. If you're struggling with creating your life or changing stuff, the first step towards any self-improvement or manifesting or creating a life, you have to see this universe as a friendly place for you. You have to see the possibilities of your goals and dreams happening. Point blank. And basically, that's how I escaped the matrix, guys. See, it's not like this process, like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, da 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 da. Of course, once I became an optimism, then, you know, that's when I realized, okay, Mark, you got some limiting beliefs. I started to remove those. But the biggest trigger was the optimism part. And that's a big starting point for any one of you guys watching, or you want to learn how to just get out of this rat race, they call it, or the matrix. Start practice being optimistic, and you too will escape the matrix.